in general as well?
Oh yeah, unironically, it's really good. Like some of the things, like the way he writes his lyrics is always something that I've always liked.
I like the vibe. It's like something I would hear like
what he does
back in 2000s.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Snoop Dogg and
Dre exactly.
coming up.
Yeah. So like one of the things that I like about his music is that he can encapsulate like an older vibe of music, but modernize it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, it doesn't feel cheesy. Like, it's like authentic. That's what I've always liked about his. His music is always very authentic. It's always him. He always writes in a very like him style. So it'd be like a lot about like his like life, and like he used to be a drug dealer, like how like it was growing up for him, like the murders and stuff. And that's why it's always really like lyrically depth and like impressive to see how so much story and so much character can be told in such like short amount of detail, or a short amount of like time in the song, pretty much. Yeah, and the
I might check him out, honestly.
Yeah, and the production is by Madlib. I consider him to be the greatest hip hop producer of all time. Like the beat, the beat.
Oh, the beat, yeah.
Like the thing. Like he like he's very famous for sampling other music, and then he puts his own like reverb and chops it and samples it, and he puts like his entire spin onto it. So you could
is that his style? Like he takes a song, samples that song, and then
but like also he can make like and then also he like writes, like he like plays instruments in the background to like layer it up and things like that. Like
put like
I know exactly what you mean. Onto it. Yeah.
Do you know this genre called aesthetic rap?
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Like One and Only, and have you heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard a bit about them.
They kind of do the same thing. Instead of it being like hip hop songs being sampled, it's sometimes, most of the time, it's like Japanese songs.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
And the focus on creating unique and...
Yeah, so...
I get what you mean. Like,
I forgot what the subgenre of Freddie Gibbs is. Type up Freddie Gibbs subgenre, and then it'll explain to you what it is. But like, I like their style of music, that specific subgenre that they have.
Yeah.
He has.
Hip-hop
that's what it is. Gangster rap. Yeah, that's what it is. It's gangster rap, and it's like.
Can you zoom in on that?
Like, and it's not necessarily that like he's a bad person, but it's just the stuff that he's like experienced and dealt with. And like all these people, like there's other rappers like Griselda is a massive rap group. They have like Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, and Conway the Machine. Like they're like all Griselda, Griselda. So Griselda Records. If you go on like images, you'll see. And they look all like different, and they each have their own different styles. Like, so West Side Gun is like, he's like a, hey yo, like he like talks in a really high pitched voice.
Yeah.
But
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. Kind of
yeah. Talking about Jordan Peterson though, pull it up. Audio engineer.
What I need you to do is tag 3 big dick ass niggas under this tweet right here. I need some more niggas to do this Bust That Nut challenge.
Go down in the comments right now.
I'm also giving away another 100 free subscriptions to my OnlyFans. Be looking out for that tweet later on today. Don't forget to tag them 3 niggas out there. If you one of them big dick niggas, tag yourself. Hump day. Fuck with your boy.
I was sorry about that. Yeah, applause for my boy. Right.
That's the best. That's the best. So yeah, that's how he kind of talks like that, like in a very high pitch. And then he has like wrestling, like WWE, like lyrics in his like themed lyrics in his music. That's pretty cool. They don't like again. I like the style because it's more authentic. It's not like 6ix9ine to where like he's bullshit. He's like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's just making things up.
He's just making things up.
I got 10 racks in my bag right now. I got 2 rollies, but these rollies they don't even own them. I saw once. Do you know this guy called Iman Ghazi on YouTube?
I've heard of him.
You've probably heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, he's like an entrepreneur guy.
Yeah.
Like he likes watches. Like that's one of his passions.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to the Rolex like stores, they tell him these rappers they don't even own these Rolexes. Like they just get it lent like on rent.
Yeah.
And then these rappers are like, I bought a new rollie. They did not buy a new rollie.
They like took out a deposit from the bank.
Yeah.
Hi, could I
get one rollie for my music video? I will promise to return it after this music video. Please, daddy rollie.
What type of investment is that? I've always wondered to myself.
Like 100K on a rollie for like 5 minutes on a video.
It's so stupid. Yeah, I mean, most of these people don't actually own their jewelry. Like I remember Lil Yachty ages ago had a like a scandal or like some type of thing where he didn't pay his jeweler back, and then people were just like, "What the fuck?" Like, so you'd be like sporting this jewelry, but you don't own it.
You don't even own it.
Apparently, he was like he had like 70% of like payments left of his jewelry. So that means technically the guy still owns it. Like the guy who made the jewelry, like, who put the diamonds on and like sourced the materials and spent hours and hours and hours doing it. Yeah, like see, look at all the jewelry that Lil Yachty has. It's so nice. Like it's funny and it's like comical, but it's like kind of nice. And he doesn't like own some of it. I don't know if it's been dealt with, but I just know that it's funny to think that this guy doesn't own it.
I've seen rappers, right? There's this one guy I saw yesterday. He's called Lil Du. He's like 15. And his lyrics are like, "Oh, fucking bitches, 1, 2, 3, 4." Like, not exactly that, but he's like 15. And he's like about rollies and rates and fucking bitches. 2 thoughts on my date. I was like, what? So these people are just making it up.
You have homework tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro's got calculus 2 examinations. I got 2 thoughts on my dick, 2 bitches on my dick.
Oh my god! Do you think when he like raps, like when he's like writing his raps,
go on
they'll be like
DBZ
the math teacher being like
lyrics.
X equals this?
I saw a rap that like I forgot what the name was, but they were literally just saying, you know, the formula like X plus minus B square root of. He's just saying that whole thing. It's like I be spitting math on that track.
Oh, it's so funny.
All right, let's see the lyrics. Bad bitch on my line hitting it like DBs, like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. That's
this is a 15-year-old guy.
That's pretty good.
I mean, his rap was actually good, decent. Like, but when I saw it, I was like, wait, so this guy's just making things up about his rates and like women.
What are you doing? What is this? Yeah, good. DBC.
Yeah, to be honest, I ain't wife no bitch. He wanna marry me. He's 15, bro.
He's relating to all the Indian people, you know.
Yeah.
Good on him. He's taking a strong stance against arranged marriage. My boy right there. Oh, you gonna play the song?
If Lil Du's watching this,
Shout
I
out,
love you, bro. Shout out. Please don't copyright strike me.
Actually, this is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
This is
decent.
really nice.
Like, he's still
15?
like, no, right now I think he's like 17 or something.
That's good.
He
It's
made
still
this
good.
when he was 15.
You always gotta get better.
Chill, and I went on his Instagram and just have a look around.
I'm just making fun of the idea that you're in class writing the lyrics. That's what I'm making fun of.
But let's stay grinding, stay
I'm not calling
grinding.
for any beef.
Nah, I need beef, Lil Du. Fuck you, Lil Du. Can I say that? He cannot beef with me.
No, we're good people, and
yeah, I love you, Lil Du. Like, hop on the podcast one day.
Okay, we're like, you know, this is pretty good. I actually like this. And again, you're always gonna get better. But it's funny to think that people like like rap. Okay, you can like cut it now.
It's gonna.
No, it's just funny to think that people like you'd be like other people would be like in school doing their maths homework.
Doing their maths homework, they're grinding and say, I have to get into that corporate job right now. Climb the ladder. And this guy's like, fucking bitches, like a head tie.
He's like on the back of the book.
On the back of his math teacher goes, oh, X equals minus square root of B. Like, yeah. But good on him.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah,
he's kind of humble as well. Like one of the interviews he had, they asked him, all right, so how do you think you're gonna go with this? Like you're kind of young and you kind of like he's not too bad on Spotify. Like
that's pretty good.
300-400K.
That's wow.
Followers. What do you got? Not followers, monthly listeners, which is
400K. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's doing great numbers.
I have like friends that I've met, and they also do music too. They're pretty good, but like. They don't have that many like listeners to like 3. Like they have like 1K maybe. Like
yeah, he's doing quite well for him. And then he's saying
impressive. Yeah.
He wants to right now. He's just like trying to remind himself, stay humble.
Yeah.
Don't let his ego take over. It's like
good.
there's people bigger than him. Like there's always bigger fish. And if he lets the ego take over, it's just gonna be a huge fall. So yeah, he's probably gonna go big.
That's
Give
good.
it a few years. He's grinding.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, like TikTok ironically helps this because like I see so many edits, like again, like I'm on the MMA like route of like my For You page. So there's always like MMA edits. By the way, are the best edits of any sport. They have the best edits. Like cricket has garbage edits.
Why'd you even bring up cricket? I'm sorry, like that. I didn't even know people make cricket edits.
MMA edits with like music, but on TikTok. If you go on TikTok and then you go like MMA edits. Like there's like people who like are really, really good at like editing like fight clips and stuff like that. And they just put it really well together. Like John Jones edits crush. Conor McGregor edits are always the funniest because he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's like, your wife is in me DMs, hey baby. And then always like,
and then cuts to
it cuts like to the fight footage. It's like he's like fucking people up. And he like knocks out Jose Aldo and he goes like this and like runs around. That's fucking sick. Yeah, it's always the best. Like I love those edits.
Yeah.
And like in those edits they use like aesthetic rap. Like they use the Playboy Cardi like a song mix of like I think it would be like Rockstar made and then it would cut into like an aesthetic like a vibe of some type of like melody or thought. It's pretty good. And like the
TikTok editors are crazy. Some
100%.
Like I've come across like some Valorant ones and holy crap, like you wouldn't like in the Valorant, but like cool. It's still the same like idea. Like the stuff they're doing, it's like innovative and when I watched the first time I watched it, I thought, what? You can do that with video?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, and it's helping like other musicians, which is good. I actually rate the idea that like you could use like younger musicians, like up and coming ones. Like
the one I was talking about is this guy called Dumb Moves. You might find him on Twitter as well. DA.
We're giving you so much work to do.
Yeah, you're better, bird.
He's like fucking typing away.
He's just typing every single sentence. We're just talking and it's like...
I do have a suggestion for like a better montage. That's why I was looking at this one. Hang on.
Oh, he's upstaging you.
Oh, okay. No, I found this guy a long time ago when I was like neurotically scrolling on Twitter every single day.
Yeah.
I think we're off to a good start. As you can see, it is a minute long.
Oh, this is scuffed.
Oh, Lord! Oh.
No one can hold their breath forever.
Oh
This
my
is
god,
kinda
it's
scuffed.
so good.
Yeah, the video is.
Oh my god.
It's pretty funny though. To think that we're watching like a 20 refresh rate.
It's not even 20. It's more like 4 or 5. I'm sorry. If it was 20, I'd be happy. Like honestly.
Yeah, this is like the most garbage refresh rate ever.
Yeah.
Oh, Spencer, yesterday we were in university. I think your mic's on. Okay, it's fine. We were in university and we were supposed to do this experiment to collect data. And one of the the experiment is like you have to like look at a computer screen, look at this X, and then you press a space bar, and then it's like there's either like an asterisk on either side, like a left or right side, and it's supposed to take like half an hour, but one of the computers had like the normal refresh rate for every computer should be like 60, right? Like it's not like 60 FPS. That's fine. This computer had like 10. so there was one uni student who sat down and was looking at the computer for like 1.5 hours doing the thing.
What?
Just imagine how boring that is.
Loki, that's on him. Like, why does he not see like, okay, this computer is looking retarded. Why is it like this?
I feel so bad for him.
I feel bad as well, but like, poor guy. But at the same time, has he never used a computer before? Like,
no, it's funny to think because my tutor was like everyone finished it. Everyone finished. They're all in their seats, and like we're waiting for this guy. Like that's what my tutor's talking about this. So it's like we're waiting for this guy, and I see that he's on his second trial because like there's 4 trials.
Yeah.
He's on the second trial and he's like 1.5 hours in basically. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And then he's like he goes behind him and he does the experiment. And he's like, hey, could I just like see something with the computer? And the guy's like, sure. And he's like, he presses like the X like to go on this side and like pauses there for like 5 minutes. Like a good 10 seconds. And it goes to the next one. And it goes to the next one. And it takes hours. Like roughly he said like it would take like 2 hours if you complete the whole thing. 2 extra hours to complete the entire experiment. It's supposed
instead
to take
of like half an hour.
Yeah. Which is funny because that guy would have been cooked out of his brains to do the experiment.
This is monkey brain, like press.
Because after some time.
Have you seen that monkeys typing like there was this clip, I just saw monkeys just on the typewriter. And this was like a thought experiment with the nature of infinity. Yeah. If you let monkeys just press random keys on a keyboard, eventually they will type out the whole like Shakespeare's catalog of plays.
What the fuck?
That's just how infinity works, like randomization.
Yeah, but the chances of that are...
but...
Well, 1 in infinity, is that the argument?
In infinity, it's not like a value, right? You already know that. Yeah. So it doesn't matter, like, if no matter what the chances are, no matter how small they are, it will eventually happen over an infinite amount of time. Okay. So... that was one example. And there was another example with infinity where I think it was a Harvard experiment. It was an infinite monkey theorem. That's what it's called.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the infinite monkey theorem states that a monkey hitting keys at random. Well, I mean, you just fucking zoomed out. I can't see shit. Yeah, okay, whatever you said, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, I get that.
To build on that, there's an even crazier idea that there's an infinite amount of you in this universe, right? Because if you say the universe is infinite, because we don't really know the size of it right now. If you say it's infinite, after enough time, like enough space in space, like enough distance covered, the universe is just going to repeat itself exactly how it is.
Yeah.
So you can imagine like all the random combinations of particles and protons and everything.
Yeah, right.
And then after enough combinations, it will just come back to you again.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, isn't that what like the theory is? Like Newton, like I mean, you always like Joe Rogan talks about this like a fucking billion times. Where it's like there's a version of you in every other universe who's said the same thing up to the same pause, up to the same words, and everything. And there's like maybe one minute difference.
Maybe one minute difference. Yeah, that's one of the theories, like the multiverse theory, where every decision you make splits off.
Yeah, like
reality.
infinite numbers.
Infinite numbers. Yeah,
like Rick and Morty
instead of me like picking this up. Like in another universe, I pick this up in a slightly like different way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
pretty
you get
much.
the idea.
Yeah, there's a Rick and Morty episode where Rick gives Morty the portal gun.
I think I remember it. Like, it had like 4 screens on it.
It had like 4 screens on it, and then basically it was
one of them did something retarded.
Like, and anytime Morty would fuck up, he would like pause it and he would go to a different universe that has the same timeline, but the same like a different timeline but the same Morty. So it would be like, oh, Morty's in this timeline. Now he's going to go to this one instead. And he fucked up then. Okay, now he's going to go to this one.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was and then Rick like takes him and he goes like, hey, this is what you did, that you fucked up everyone else's timelines for your own sake of greed and like benefit and yada, yada, yada. And like he goes on this like kind of weird rant thing. But he says it in like a Rick way. Like he's like half drunk. It's like that.
Yeah. I'm a pickle, Morty. I'm a pickle. I'm pickle Rick.
The new season of...
Oh, yeah. What happened to it? Like, I think after like season 2 or 3, it just fell off.
It's really bad. The writing of it is not up to shape anymore. Like after season 3, I think it sucks. I actually like.
I didn't keep up after like season 3 or 4 or something. I forgot what. Yeah.
I watched halfway of season 6. I think that's a new one. I don't know.
There's a new season. That's great.
There is a new one. Yeah, I watched halfway. And I couldn't watch the rest. I was like, it was really bad. Like I think it just got worse. And now Justin Roiland. Oh, have you heard the news? Like it's just like a couple months ago, but he got caught like texting some like underage girl.
I swear I might have seen this. I think it was like last year or something.
No, this is not last year.
Really
this
close?
Is like a couple months ago.
3
months ago, I'd say. But yeah, like he got like caught DMing some like underage girls. That's pretty funny.
Manipulating minors and several women. That just
the way they said it is so professional too. Manipulating minors and several women. They didn't even say like this guy's just being a fucking creep, dude. He's a fucking pedophile cunt. Like this was before the Rick and Morty days as well.
Oh, right. I think I've seen this.
I forgot what the TV show was, but I know that he used to do another TV show before Rick and Morty. And then this was like the fans of that TV show. Be like, oh, I really like your TV show, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, oh, sweet, how fucking old are you? And they're like, I'm like 14 years old. He's like, that's fine, we can make this work. Like some bullshit like that. Like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? Dude, you run like $1 million like
Several
TV.
women have accused of manipulating and victimizing them.
Like you could get anyone you want for being Justin Roiland. Is that a weird hot take to say? Like if you've got creator,
status, yeah.
If you're a creator and you got status, you can get any girl you want. Theoretically,
they'll throw themselves at you.
That's what everyone says. That's like if you get rich.
That's the thing. I don't know for a fact. That's what I've been told. Well, all these Sigma male TikTok accounts. Go. Trust me. Go ghost. Change yourself in the next 6 months. Trust me. Cut off friends that you don't need. Trust me, sleep 3 hours a night.
Who needs therapy when you have the gym? No, but like my point is, why would you have to do this? I don't understand. Like of anything, you're like the caliber. Like you're kind of famous. You're one of the best writers. Like you have a massive TV show. You probably make crazy amounts of money with this TV show because obviously he's not gonna do it for fucking free or like a charity.
Yeah,
no way.
Rick and Morty for charity. I don't think you can give it to charity.
Poverty right now. I'm gonna make the episodes of Rick and Morty. No, anyways, my point is like it's just stupid to me that this like exists or is like happening.
I think
why? Why?
I remember this one thing about pedophilia where I forgot, it was some experiment, not an experiment, but this guy had a tumor back. I think it was like 1900s or something. Can you try and pull it up? He had like a tumor in his brain. So before that point, before the tumor like fully developed, he was a normal functioning man. And then after it developed, he had pedophilic tendencies. Yeah. But then the doctor removed it. I think he went to jail or something, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, we need to do some work on your brain." They removed it, and then the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm completely fine. I don't feel that." Okay, look. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I can see like
that's a sick cover up, dude.
That's a sick cover up. It could be, right? And now that I'm saying it,
sorry, it's in my frontal lobe, and it affected my decision to see how I see women. Oh yeah, that's fucking funny. But I mean, you read it out because I can't read shit.
Background orbitofrontal abnormalities are associated with poor impulse control, altered sexual behavior, and sociopathy. Objective to describe a patient with acquired pedophilia and a right orbitofrontal tumor who was unable to inhibit sexual urges despite preserved moral knowledge.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense, yeah. Orbitofrontal tumors. Frontal, something like that.
Brain tumor causes, right. Yeah. It's just crazy, like.
Exactly, yeah. So pretty much, you know, something happened to his brain and his like thought process got kind of fucked up.
He just got
despite knowing what was wrong.
Even though he knew it was morally wrong, it's just like, you know what? I can't control it. You know,
like a superpower that you can't do. Like the
super villain arc, bro.
The Incredible
Fuck
Hulk.
these kids. Yeah. Pull that off the
my God.
editor, please pull that out. Oh my God.
You're like the Incredible Hulk, but you just have no fucking
Your sexual
control
urge, no
for yourself. It's that time of day. Keep him away. Lock them up. He's coming out. Give us a topic. I've run out of comedy things to say because I can't make this too dark.
Oh yeah, Sneako.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. This is a good one. Thank you. See, this is why we need to like host some topics beforehand. So I saw that Sneako went Muslim.
Yeah.
You guys are both, you know, Muslims. What do you think about this? Like, my argument is this: how can you live your like life a certain way and then have like some trauma or like some like magic thought to be like, oh, actually, I just want to change into this. Like, what does your religion say about this stuff?
I think if you follow Sneako for a bit, right?
Yeah, I know his backstories.
You know a bit of a backstory.
I've seen some
I think
stuff about
so.
it.
He doesn't know too much about Sneako.
That's fine.
Right, but I used to follow him before his YouTube channel got taken down.
Yeah,
and I think it all probably started with Andrew Tate and
yeah.
No, with Andrew Tate. Okay, a lot of his like misogynist kind of views or like red pill kind of views started in the Andrew Tate era.
Yeah,
and then also he started mixing in like Islamic practices in his videos sometimes. Like, do you remember that one time he got death threats from Muslims when he was doing like the I don't want to get death threats either. So I'm not gonna people. If you know, you know. Like
yeah, right.
he did like. When you pray, like there's a few moves that you do while praying in Islam.
Yeah,
and then he did that on stream.
Yeah.
After he saw some OnlyFans girl or something.
Yeah, right.
Like to be like, oh God, please save me from this planet.
Right.
And then people took it the wrong way.
Yeah,
and then he went onto this podcast with 3 Muslims.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this a while ago.
No, that's fine. Tell me.
But yeah, he went on this podcast called 3 Muslims where they had 3 Muslims.
I don't even understand what's going on. A lot of them don't care. Chat, this is not just going to be
it
an
was.
apology stream. I have stuff to react to, but I want to clear this up because a lot of people are very angry at me. A lot of Ahmeds and Mohammeds are in my DMs. And they're I'm getting a lot of death threats. Personally,
that's not the way you say it.
That's the worst way to do an apology, but
they're told to defend their religion. If people are mocking it, then they're told to act in violence.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting a lot of people sending me death threats. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Are we sure Sneako and them are all related to Andrew Tate?
What do you mean?
They all look so similar.
They all have that same vibe. Like if you hang around with that group of people, you'll become like them because you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So, yeah, that's why. And yeah, he he did the apology.
Yeah, right.
He went on to the 3 Muslims podcast with 3 Muslims, and they talked to him.
I have Muslim friends. I promise you.
It's kind of like that. Like they kind of educated him.
I promise you. I love black people so much, dude.
He's half black, or like 1/4. I forgot which one.
Yeah.
But you can say the N-word though.
Can he?
So,
I don't know.
Apparently, according to him, but that's on him. But yeah, that's what I remember mostly about the Muslim stuff. And then after he got taken off YouTube, I didn't really see much of his content.
Yeah, right.
Because he's on Rumble or something. I forgot what.
Yeah, yes, Rumble. That's the one.
Yeah, he's on Rumble. But I was like, Steve's just moving on to another website. I'm just gonna no.
Yeah, right.
Screw this.
Yeah,
and then after you like brought it up a few days ago, I went on his.
Yeah,
I went on.
I forgot what's his name. I think Eli. He's from the Fresh and Fit podcast.
I think the Fresh and Fit guy also. Like they're all in Arab right now or something. I saw one of his
Saudi
interviews.
Arabia.
He's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And like he's like, I'm gonna meet the Fresh and Fit guys right after this.
Yeah, right.
I think there's some other guys. Like they all have that group. Like there's this guy called Luke Belmar. He's in that group. Like he knows these people like Sneako, Andrew Tate, Iman Ghatzi, Sebastian Georgiou.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
these names probably mean nothing to you, but like if people know, if they know, they know.
They know. Okay.
He's also like the entrepreneur type of guy.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sebastian Escoeda.
No, okay.
But,
yeah. So my like original point is that like, cause you kind of see it within the Sidemen. Like they all have the
so your original point,
of like when they would be like making a joke like, oh, inshallah, like, oh, alhamdulillah. Like, they say, which, again, I think it's funny.
I mean, some of the Sidemen are Muslim, right? Like
no, they're not. None of them are Muslim.
Which one was it? The Beta Squad. I think
Beta Squad is Muslim.
Yo, no, you know what? Fuck you guys. I don't care, bro. I don't go on YouTube that much anymore. I forgot all of them.
I know Chunks is Muslim.
Chunks.
Out of Beta Squad. He's very open about that. Yeah. But like
but how do you get to that stage? It's like because exposure over time.
Memeing, like in some sense, like it's like a
joking is more truth.
It's like a comedic response to what's happening, but it's using your religion in a way to be like, oh, like, you know, it kind of sucks. It's kind of like you to kind of like formalize a punchline.
Yeah.
It's kind of using your religion as a back end of it. That's my point. It's like, is that right? Is that wrong? Like, what do you think about that?
What do I think about? Is it right?
You're in like terrible territory.
It depends on what religion. To be honest, there's no right or wrong until the people 100%. In the religion call you out for it. If Sneako did the same thing with Christianity, people would be fine. Like, oh, whatever. Like Christians themselves, they just hate their own prophets. Like, oh, fuck Jesus Christ, I hate that guy. Like, but then if you said that same thing about the prophet in Islam, oh, bro, you better just sleep with one eye open every night. One eye on.
Like, I mean, again, like it's kind of normalized within that sort of the YouTube spaces to like use it as like a comedic timing response. But I'm just saying like it, and also it's like when anything bad.
If you're asking me personally,
you don't care. You can't talk for everybody.
I can't talk for everyone. Like there's a lot more radicalist Muslims.
Yeah, and also like when anything bad ever happens to like anyone, it's just like, oh, I'm Muslim. All of a sudden, it's the stupidest thing ever. Like some part of it has to be like, okay, how much do you really believe in this? Like how much do you really sit down and go, yes?
Do you believe in Islam, or do you believe like the political stance you get to have, like the political high ground you get to have? Saying, exactly. Oh, I'm Muslim. That's racist, and you can't say that to me.
That's a good point. It's like a shield. It's like the. It's like a shield to be like, well, actually, I'm Muslim, and then that's it. Like, oh yeah, you know, everything I say is actually.
It's actually I've heard stories. You know, hijabis, like,
tell me.
So women that with the hijab, that we just call them hijabis, right?
Yeah.
So, I can't verify the sources. Like my friends told me this, but I can't go to the exact like source of information. What they were saying is like these hijabis. They will show you like their ass and everything, but they'll not show you their hair. Which is like the craziest thing. Like, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna show my hair or anything. I can't take this job off, but like we can fuck right now if you want. It's just
oh, what's it called? I mean,
have you seen that meme? It's
there's jokes about this. Like, like everyone makes jokes about this. But again, to what extent can you say it? To what extent? I don't care for any religion ever, so I don't like. I have no moral high ground on anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what people say about anything. Like I'm like, that happens. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's
opinion,
not.
But I can't.
It's like unnecessary negativity in my life. Like if someone has a problem with something, and it's not directly affecting me, I don't really need to get bothered by it. Like, all right, man, you're angry about it. Do your thing. Like, go start a protest or like come out of the closet, whatever you want. I don't really care. Just leave me alone out of it.
Yeah.
You know how people like hate gays?
Yeah.
And like the whole gay community, all the stuff. I'm like, whatever, man. I don't really care. Like, that's what I never got. Like, do your thing, bro. Like, if you wanna, like, if you like glizzies and slongs, like, whatever, bro. I don't really care. If you're a slong owner and you're like a glizzy gobbler, so whatever.
Slong dog millionaire.
Someone, we need to edit that. Put that on the screen right now. Slong dog millionaire. No, maybe they already have it.
I mean, maybe, but no. What's that joke? I think Mark Norman was like, he has a joke. It was like, gay rights, something like gay rights. It's like how if you say you hate them. Like, if you say like, hey, let them do their thing, that's fine, leave them alone. That's like a progressive stance. Like, that's like the best thing to say about like gay rights.
Like, you're not taking anyone's side, but at the same time, everyone's going to be probably happy.
Like, I forgot what the joke was, but it's like how stupid that is to say like, yo, just leave them alone, it's fine. Like, for other ones, it's like, oh, I hate this is what it is. What it is. Oh, yeah, it's Mark Norman, but is this the set? Let's see.
Is this the one?
You never hear that, you know?
Oh, yeah, Mark Norman. Yeah,
and I had a guy say to me once, hey, Mark, you like gays so much, but what if you had a gay son? I wouldn't mind having a gay son. Having a gay son's like finding a French fry in your onion rings. You know, you're like, well, it's not what I expected, but I like these too. Yeah.
The gut, bro.
Oh boy, I'll tell you. Homophobia, that's a weird one, huh? Any homophobes here? I did shows in Boston recently. I was talking to this guy after the show. I told him about a friend of mine who's gay. This guy goes, you have a gay friend? I wouldn't even shake a gay man's hand. I was like, Jesus Christ, why not? He goes, you know how many dicks are on that hand? I was like, well, you shook my hand. Are you okay with my dick? There's a lot of interaction between the two. Right? Wow, that is terrible logic. You know who else touches a lot of dicks? Women. Yeah, man, they put them all over. You're screwed.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, man.
I love him so much.
That was great.
God bless him. He's the fucking goat, bro. Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. He's absolutely man.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, like, those people that are...
I think that's not the specific joke I was looking for, but it's still funny enough where Mark Norman... I listen to Mark Norman hours and hours. Go on.
Yeah, so... You know, religious people who are like, you know what, you can't be gay in this household, or I don't like gay people. I don't understand it. Like, how does that come about? Like, why are they bothered by it?
I have no idea. I also...
Like, also on top of that, I heard that... on top of that, homosexuality apparently it's just like a biological thing. So it's not even like one day they wake up, it's like, you know what, I want to try something new. You know?
Yeah, right.
Change of pace. I hate women now. You know, but it's like you see it in monkeys or like other animals as well.
Yeah,
right. So it's like biological. It's not something you can control.
Yeah, there are some studies that there's like other animals who have
also exhibit like homophobic. Yeah. No, maybe they do. That's a study. That's a study. That's a study we can do.
No one's gonna fund that study. You know that, right? No one's gonna fucking fund that.
One day I might fund it. You know, I just need to know.
Why?
Yo, clip this like in like 5 years. I need this study.
Yeah, exactly. There's biological factors that drive homosexuality. There is a lot of studies behind it, and it's kind of empirical, unironically. Like there's a lot of like actual science behind it. Because you always hear those right wing dudes like science is being fucking taken over by like left wing ideology. It's like no, some of it's kind of true. You know, like you just don't like it because it doesn't fit to your agenda, which is fine because everyone has agendas of their own. Like, I like to think that John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time, but people are going to be like, what the fuck? Like, he's a fucking cheat, bro. Fuck you. Like, yada, yada, yada. Like, oh, my favorite fighter is GSP. And, like the list for any example or any debate has always gone on for hours and hours. Like, people will always have their own tendencies and biases to whatever they see. And it's like, whatever, you know? Let them live what they want to live. But, like, as long as you don't harm people, that's, like... I guess that's good. Like you shouldn't just interfere with people's lives and be like, this is bad. I hate you. I'm gonna fucking burn whatever valuables that you have. It's like, what? Just let it be. I don't know. But yeah, that's my point about the Sneako thing, to kind of put that on a wrap. It's like I don't know, like you're memeing a certain religion, but you're also not taking the religion to what it is. Like I'm sure like Islam has so many nice like benefits.
That's for sure. That's
like
for
it
sure.
humbles you, it gives you more respect, like it gives you a certain lifestyle to live. Like when I see Khabib Nurmagomedov, like the MMA fighter, that guy is like, holy fuck, that guy is like driven to win. Like all he does is like pray, train, and like eat. That's all he probably fucking does.
That sounds like a chill life, Loki.
That's a sucking.
If I could, bro,
that's a fucking sick life. That's what it is.
That's crazy.
That's a
pray,
cool life.
eat, and then just
train. That's it.
Train, repeat.
Yeah, he'll just like roll. He'll do cardio, and then like what? Maybe once in a while, like he accepts a fight. He fucks the guy up. He comes back. He's like, all right, yeah, I'm undefeated. I still won. Life's good, bro. That's it.
What's new?
Yeah, what's new? Exactly. Like this, and part of how successful he is, it's literally because of his like religion and the way he's lived his life, and that's such a good thing, and that's like a positive thing that people need to like acknowledge. And a lot of people, MMA people, like
unadulterated focus and.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like these are the positive views that I see in like Islam or just religion in general, and that's like
every idea. Like there's bad parts about like negatives about every ideology and religion, but there's a reason like Islam has stayed relevant this long.
Agree.
Like
I agree.
1.7 billion people still follow it.
Yeah.
According to the statistics, it could be more or less,
I can see it,
yeah. So there's definitely some truth to it.
Yeah. 100%.
Otherwise, it wouldn't last this long.
And again, my point is that I think these influences just make like again, like Andrew Tate being a Muslim, like come on, like something in me is like that's not right. Like what? And I'm like the fucking Prime Minister of Australia.
Yeah.
I'm like fucking like Bill Gates or some shit. Like now we can just start saying shit that's not even true. Just saying it as a defense mechanism so that you don't cop any heat or hatred for any views that you can't back up. I understand like podcasts like people will get like done over by podcasts like with like the stupid shit they say. It's fine, it makes sense, but like it's also like accountability. That's like, okay, I fucked up, I said that thing, that's wrong, okay, we go on. Like everything I say is a joke and I don't really mean anything because like I just live my life normally. I try to be like stand-up comedian, try to be like a cool person, funny, trying to make it out, but that's about it. That's everything that is to me. And like when I see stuff like this, like it just delegitimizes everything that like other people of that religion work so hard to maintain. Like so much effort and time has gone into like being a model person, being a good person. It's like this, like train your kids, teach your kids like all the right values to have, so that when they get older, they live a noble and good life, and then they pass it on to their generation, and then their generation, and it goes on and on and on, and everyone's happy, sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, things like that. But then again, you have like the outliers, and there's people who are like, "Well, that guy's a horrible person, so I think everyone's a horrible person." It's like, like you've gone up for so long trying to do some like good things, but then you have one guy just bringing it down. So that's my final point. That's what I have to say.
I was thinking about this on, how when you're just joking about things or just writing, say about a topic and you put humor into it.
Yeah, right.
And you deliver it with humor that has more truth compared to actually just speaking about the topic instead.
Yeah, right.
So you can probably bring up controversial topics.
Yeah.
But put humor into it and people will, that's funny.
Yeah,
and that has more truth to it than you just trying to speak normally.
I guess, yeah. I mean, because might as well break the shell.
I mean, you're the comedian, so
I'm trying. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I do open mics like 3-4 times.
Well, where do you go? Like, they can check it out.
No, don't check me. No,
go to his open mic, throw some tomatoes at him.
let me get to a comedy club, and then once I actually become a famous comedian, I'm like, I'm performing at these venues and these dates. For now, I'm just doing open mics. I just want to try my hand at it. I've always liked it, so I just want to see how good I'm at doing it.
Yeah.
It's not the aspect of getting on stage is not hard. It's just writing jokes that's hard.
Coming up with material.
Yeah, coming up with material is really hard. Something that's original and funny to you. That's all. That's pretty. It's like hard and kind of like it's a grueling process because like you're bombing and you're trying and you try. Like, you say something that's funny that you think is funny, but then the bomb's like, fuck, was that even funny, or is it like, are they a shit crowd? And then you just go back and you like cry and like, oh fuck it, whatever. So, anyways, to your point about like is truth in comedy. I mean, depends. Like, how do you see it in that sense? Because like I think comedy is just a way to capture your attention. Attention. That's all it is. It's like if I keep talking to you at a monotone rate of just facts, at some point in that conversation, you're gonna get zoned out and you're gonna start thinking of your own like the thought process or something else. Like if I keep telling you about like monkeys, and then
I don't know about that topic. I'd be engaged, zoned in.
Like 5 minutes in, you're gonna like start thinking about the gym or like your other priorities. But if I say something witty or sharp or funny, like to hold you in, it's a way to like keep you in my engaged like viewpoint, so I can keep talking and keep you in like to whatever I'm saying, so that you can go, oh right, this is how you think. Because if you listen to 100% of the things I say, it's way better than obviously like the 80% that probably lands just with normal conversation. That's why I think a lot of people tend to use a sense of humor. It's not necessarily that to say that they're funny, but it's like to bring their point across much better. And that's why sarcasm helps. Like Ricky Gervais is probably the best example of that. To where he's like, the way he uses sarcasm to steer his point of view is like amazing. Like so exceptionally brilliant. It's so clever. Like I can't praise Ricky Gervais enough for how like he would like make jokes, but they're always like interesting points that he like runs with, and then he goes like, he use really sarcastic ideas to like point out like the how do I say it, like how society is like fucked up, or how people have their own values and biases, and like the inconsistencies of people's thoughts and values. That's what it is. But in terms of like, is it truth? Like, I mean, you can you can make your own truth up and then argue that point of view. You can like belittle someone else's point of view really easily. I can be like, oh, you suck for these reasons, and make fun of you for that. But that's not really being truth. That's just me belittling your viewpoint, and then like me like patting myself on the back, be like, yeah, I fucking destroyed him, dude.
Yeah.
It's like that's not really anything at that point. That's just me flexing my whatever knowledge that I have on you, because you know I don't hold your viewpoint consistent to mine. Like I've always seen you as down. Same thing with any political ideas.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, this like idea sucks. It's like, well, did you give the idea a point of view? Like, did you like give it the same like attention it deserves? It's like, well, no, it doesn't deserve anything. It's like, well, like you're no better of a person than that guy, because that guy is like saying the same thing to you, but none of you will see eye to eye on
different ideologies.
So yeah, like I think like the idea of like truth is always like misconstrued in some idea, because people have their own biases and values. There's no like objective truth. I mean, there is, but there isn't. Like there's
there is, yeah.
Yeah, like it could be so easily argued against. It's like, that's why comedy is just like, I think just an extension of like sarcasm and like devices just to hold people's attention spans, so that they can just say stuff to you and hold your attention for like 1 hour. That's it.
Right.
What do you think?
So the reason why I thought of that point, like comedy has more truth than just sincere words, was the other day I was having a chat with a friend, and it's like one of those kind of like late night talks.
Yeah.
When like they bring in humor as well, but then they're talking about problems and like issues in their life.
Yeah.
And then at one point it was like, oh, I loved her. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But like he was talking about his ex, right? And then he brought that up. Oh, but she, like he's talking to other girls.
Yeah.
But in the middle it's like, but she's not her though. But she's not her.
Yeah, right.
So I was thinking, but he was like, oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, so there's some truth to what he's saying in that joke, right? So like, he wouldn't say it directly because I guess it's kind of awkward, and also like
kills the flow,
and then it kind of like it's like hurts his ego. It's like, oh, I moved on from her, don't worry. But then if he's saying a joke, you can say the truth, but not really say the truth.
Okay, right.
So that's how I was approaching it.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah. So your point is that it helps the vulnerability of a person be shown.
It helps you be vulnerable while not really.
Like, as in, like, I don't have to tell you what's I don't have to tell you specifically what's wrong with me, but you just read between.
But you just read between the lines, and then
like and then be like, okay, there's something. There's something with it.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of comedians turn their like pain into fucking humor.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, like, you know, my girlfriend cheated on me, yada yada yada. Like, fuck that bitch. Like, I never liked her anyway, dude. It's like, what the fuck? And then people just like spurting off, and then obviously like they'll be funny, but then you could like read between the lines. Like, this guy's hurt. This guy's sad. There's something beyond the recognition. Like beyond whatever is going on in his set, there's like underlines of like, okay, like he needs help. Like I've seen in open mics all the time. There's there's like dudes being like, my ex-wife is this. It's like, what?
Well, where did that come from?
Yeah, well, it didn't come out of, like, it came out of left field. Like, they'll be like, they start off with like, oh, it's like, you know, have you ever looked at trains? And like, they'll be like, that's some material on trains. It's like, yeah, man, fuck my ex-wife. Comes out of left field, and you're like, all right, I'm hearing this. I want to hear this. And they just start ranting, and it's like, it's pretty funny. Like, I can't lie, it's hilarious. Not that I would ever do that, because, like, you know, you solve your problems like a normal person.
Yeah.
Through the gym.
Lifting heavy weights, never expressing emotion.
Never.
How's your day been? Wait. Need to push more weight.
Gotta get this PR.
We PR or ER?
Yeah, I've seen that one before. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, okay, like, it helps with your vulnerabilities, but like, that's not necessarily truth. That's like showing a different aspect of you, like in terms of like your personality and characteristics. Like, the more, like, a sense of humor, like, is kind of like, I mean, they've done some studies on how people who tend to be really funny tend to be really smart.
Yeah.
Like, and it shows, because if you can layer a point of view with like a hook, like with a comedic hook, you can gain people's attention, and you can bend
your point across.
Get not just get your point across,
also,
but
like,
bend their views and values to meet your own views and values. So
that's strong.
Patrice
like,
O'Neill is the best example of that. Like, of any comedian you could ever argue, it's always Patrice O'Neill. Patrice O'Neill. Like, rest in peace. He was always the guy to argue the opposite viewpoint. Like, he would be like, oh, women are this. And you're like, what the fuck? And then he would just argue and argue and argue, and it'd be so perfect. And by the end of it, you'd be crying of laughter and agreeing with him. You'd be a girl, you'd be like, what the fuck is this misogynist saying? By the end of it, like, oh my God, he's like so right, it's so mean, oh my God. It's funny to think about it, because like how you can argue a different point of view and still be right is a viewpoint. It's like one of those there's like old school debates where it's like, oh, like, yeah, I've beaten you with my viewpoint, but I can take your viewpoint and beat you. And that's how they did it. Like, through humor, they would argue. I think Bill Burr has a joke about like, there's a guy, the guy who runs Duck Dynasty, the Duck Dynasty founder. So he was like, he had his own TV show, and he got caught saying like super homophobic things. And then Bill Burr's point was like, obviously this guy's gonna be homophobic. Like, this guy was born in like the 1930s, 1940s. He was born at a time before black people had rights, before like anything, like before what we know as a modern day of society. Like, we have a lot of black people, we have trans people, we have like all types of diversity. It's like we're just white people and like, you know, like the heterosexual like types of like people, and that's fine. You know what I mean? So like, his point was like, you know, they're the same people who taught you, you know, your ABCs and like your 1, 2, 3s, and then they instilled their viewpoints onto you. And obviously, you just can't like forget that. You can't just be like, oh, fuck my childhood, because that doesn't work. Like, obviously, psychology will tell you. Like,
if you really want to do that, that's a long process. You're gonna have to sit down and be like, okay, where did this presumption come from? Where did like all this come from?
Like,
to break it down, it's like a lot of work.
So much work.
Because people just like tell you things when you're a kid, and you're like, oh, he's older than me, or she's older than me. She's probably not, like, she knows what she's doing. Or,
yeah.
And then you're like, you carry that through your whole life, or like until like when you actually can argue yourself, and then you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck was she talking about? That's just so dumb.
Yeah, like, okay, here's something. Try finding Booba's SNL 2020 or 2019, like the most recent SNL performance that he did. Because in that he has like an argument over like how like white women hijacked like the woke movement, things like that. Yeah, this is the one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. I love this performance because he argues the opposite point so well. To like, it's genuinely amazing to how good he is. And obviously, like, he's one of the greatest comedians of all time. Wait, pause this. He's bombing in his performance. By his standards, he's theoretically bombing because no one's laughing. Like, it's like a handful of people. Think about it this way. It's like, let's say like 300-400 people are watching this audience, right? You can only hear probably like 20-30 people laughing like properly. So by comedy standards, he is bombing, but he's pushing it through. Like he's a professional. He's bombed like 1 billion times probably, and he'll probably admit this to him like on anyone. But he's like pushing through it. He's like making a point. Like he's trying to make the point. He's trying to carve the point out. He's like, yes, this is my point. I don't care what you guys believe. I'm gonna say my point on live TV.
Yeah.
Filmed. I can't fuck up. I can't do any I can't stumble over my words or anything like that. Like this is the stuff that I plan. This is the stuff I'm gonna do, and that's it. So regardless of like the audience's reaction or negativity, like this is how it is. Like I've always liked the set. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't bother like playing the whole thing. Like if you want to watch it, you can watch it in your own time. But yeah, like I mean, in terms of how comedy and the truth is, I mean, it's good. Like it's a good thing that people can like express themselves comedically and be like, oh yeah, my life is like this in interesting ways. But it's not necessarily like the truth in itself. There's another famous comedian named Norm Macdonald. If you like put a thing, rest in peace, Norm. Recently passed away as well. He's like one of the best like all time as well. And he has this like really great quote that is like saying comedians are like modern day philosophers is offensive to modern day philosophers. And like his point is like imagine you like going every day to like study philosophy.
Yeah.
Like in a school and like doing tests and like reading, writing essays and everything, like trying to break your head over it. Yeah. Just for internet comments to be like, yeah man, Dave Chappelle is like the newest Socrates or some bullshit like that. That's what it is.
Can you pull up a modern philosopher? To be honest,
actually I have no idea.
I have no clue. Like they exist, but okay, to be honest, they probably have to die and we have to wait like a few hundred years for people to be...
The last person I can tell you is probably Foucault, Michel Foucault. I think that's the last one in my...
Would you call it Nietzsche? Nietzsche wouldn't really be a philosopher, would he?
No, Nietzsche is a philosopher. He was like in the 1800s. Like, he was like...
Wasn't he more like a psychologist?
No. He was a philosopher.
He was a philosopher. I thought he was a psychologist.
Yeah. Oh, but modernity is a philosophy movement, but yeah, we go on.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, see, you have Descartes, you have Immanuel
Descartes.
Kant.
Oh, Nietzsche. Okay, Immanuel Kant.
He died at 1900. I was not wrong. Bertrand Russell. Yeah,
Bertrand Russell was
the last one that people can actually like look at. I don't read any new school philosophy books though. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get Gen Z.
Yeah, I don't like talking to people my age regardless. So I'm not gonna listen to people.
These people would need
this
to be
generation tell me what philosophy is like.
Because they haven't even lived as like half the lives these people have lived. So how can they even come up with anything meaningful?
Some of the points of view that like all the old school people have were like way more like thought provoking and interesting and renowned, and like the way that they express it was so much like nicer because it's about the human condition. Now it's just people bitching about social media and being like, well, like,
I mean, it is a recent invention. It's like the last 25 years or 20 years.
Philosophy. It's not like philosophy. About the study of life. It's just how things. It's just how people like things have impacted you on like some like emotional.
No one really like. Everyone's just like numbing their brains, just like going on their phone. Like, oh, bro, I can't wait. Like in this line, I can't wait 2 minutes, and they just go on their phone and so these people, they had time to think because they had nothing else to do.
Exactly.
So all they did was think.
Yeah, which is what, and it shows. Like,
and it shows, yeah, like their work.
It shows in the writing. It shows in how they.
Can you pull up Bertrand Russell, like what he did? I remember the name, but I forgot where he's from.
Yeah, like my understanding of all of this is that it's not a sort of recent new school form. Like, there's no like superstar philosopher like right now currently.
No, Bertrand Russell. Bertrand.
Ironically,
it was one of the philosophers.
You can argue is like any political thinker, like any political dude, like Ben Shapiro's of the world, or like the like AOCs, or like
Jordan Peterson.
Like any left or right wing person, you can argue like Hassan Abi is like a political person too, and like those.
That's like weird to call Hassan Abi a philosopher, modern day philosopher.
Yeah, unironically, it would be really weird, but it's exactly makes
what
it is.
Sense. Like that's the modern day philosopher on the internet.
People just want to argue politics, not people want to like sit down and be like,
talk about the human condition or like, deeper issues about meaning.
Yeah, deeper issues about like health or well-being and like psychology, like the points of view of like this is what a better life is, things like that. No one wants to argue that, so it's fine. Yeah. I haven't read any of his books, but I've heard.
Okay. Principle of Mathematica. That's where I know him from.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah, like any philosophy I've read is like old school. Any like I mean, it's not old school. It's like ages.
This guy made like a whole book of mathematics. Like, he devised the book with rules, like every single minute detail. So you know how 1 + 1 = 2, like everyone knows that. Yeah. To get to that point, it took like 300-400 pages of like theory.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how crazy it was. Like him and some other guy, I think, they made the book, The Principle of Mathematica.
Yeah.
And they went through the very, very bottom foundation, just started off from the foundation. Like, what is a plus? What is a minus? Like, they did everything. Like, the things, it's just, like, why would you do this?
Oh, yeah.
But to even get to the point of, like, 1 + 1 = 2, like, we know that because, like, 1 finger, 2 finger becomes 2, right? But to formally actually write that down in a book, he had to go through a crazy amount of work. Like, they're just speaking a different language. What the fuck is this? From this proposition, what proposition, brother? Yeah, it's just he basically made it his own language, like with mathematical symbols.
That's really impressive, but also kind of sad that like he went through so much effort, like 300-400 pages.
I forgot exactly how much, but it's a crazy amount of pages.
Wow. I don't even know what his life is like then. That's insane.
I mean, if he didn't enjoy doing this, or like,
I hope
didn't find
he did,
meaning
bro.
in this.
I hope this was like the way people view porn now. Like, I hope this was like orgasmic to write fucking crushing.
1 + 1.
I hope he's enjoying it because I don't see
Maybe it's a different type of enjoyment. It's not a dopamine enjoyment. It's more like fulfilling, like meaningful, like giving his life meaning.
Then again, I do open mics in my spare time, so I can't be complaining. I genuinely can't. Fair play. Good on him. Yeah, wow. I actually didn't know that. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, like that norm quote is always something that I like repeats in my head like at least like 3-4 times a day. Even when I'm doing stand up, it's like to me it goes through my head and I'm like, see, this is nonsense. Like you're telling me the guy right now talking about his wife is like some type of like
his
fucking
ex-wife.
genius.
Yeah.
No, like
he's not.
Again, Bill Burr himself, he's like, I made a living of just making shit and dick jokes. That's all he says. He's like, hey man, if you're good at telling shit and dick jokes, you can be like me too. That's such a funny thing to say. That he's like, obviously he's kind of downplaying how funny and how like amazingly brilliant he is, and the points of view and like his accents, impressions, physical comedy, all that stuff. It takes hours upon hours upon hours to like develop and just hone in. Like it does, but also end of the day, he's not wrong as well. Like it's just like they'll be like,
if you just break it down to like what exactly is really happening and like explain it to me like I'm 5. Yeah.
Explain it to me like I'm 5, like that Reddit thing.
The Reddit post.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And like when I see people like when I see Instagram comments, they're like, oh, like Dave Chappelle is like the modern day philosopher. It's like, oh no, like don't get me wrong, Dave Chappelle is Dave Chappelle. It's like one of the fucking greatest comedians of all time. But it's like it takes the hours of it takes like longer and longer, and that's what it is. So it doesn't matter.
Oh, it's good, bro. It's good. We got fans, bro. We got fans.
No, we don't. We have people who just be like, what the fuck are these two people talking
about? Bro, who
about?
cares? Like, these people will never see me again. They will never care about me. Like, after this interaction, they'll be like, they'll forget about me in the next 3 minutes.
That's a very good point. I wish I had.
It does not matter. Like, people don't care about you as much as you think. You know how you're talking about your voice, like, oh, when you're like, oh, I listen to my voice, I look gay.
I sound so gay, yeah.
But no one else, believe me, no one else cares about that. Yeah. They're more worried about their own insecurities and problems than you are. If you never told me, if you didn't tell me like you hated the sound of your voice or like didn't like it or you thought it was like kind of weird, I would have never guessed. Like in your head, it just feels weird because you're giving it attention.
In my own head, I think I'm the coolest person alive. But outside of my head, I'm like, holy fuck, everything's horrible about this. In my head, I'm like the coolest. Like I'm basically like a cool mix of like John Jones and Dave Chappelle. Yeah. Like I'm funny and I can fight, but I'm none of those things. I can't do any of those things very well.
First, you have to believe. Then
it'll come along. Fair enough.